Hi, you guys. Welcome to another episode of the State Shift podcast. Today, we are going to talk about signs from the universe. Um, and I guess I should say in my last episode, if you watched it, my first one, I had mentioned that I want to call my podcast Breadcrumbs and Rabbit Holes, because that was the name that came through when I first got the little ping sign from the universe that I should be starting a podcast. But I still love that name because it's like kind of the theme of my whole life, the past 2.5 years since my awakening and healing journey. But just for brand consistency and consistency across platforms, we're going to stick with the State Shift podcast. But I haven't given up on breadcrumbs and rabbit holes. We'll see where that name kind of comes in along the way. But it's relevant for today because we're talking about signs from the universe, and you can call them many things: signs, breadcrumbs, which is what I like, pings, downloads. You'll hear all sorts of different things, but they all mean the same thing, and it's just like so cool. The universe is constantly in communication with us or trying to communicate with us. And the breadcrumbs and the signs and the pings, whatever you want to call them, are little messages that are we receive to keep us on our most aligned path for this lifetime. And the cool thing about it is that the universe like does this to communicate with you and keep you aligned, but you can also ask for signs as well. And that's what happened to me this week. Um, I asked for a sign. I asked for something that was like unmistakable and so obvious that I couldn't miss it. And I got what I received, or I got what I asked for. And that was came in through a parking ticket. So I'll give you a little backstory. I haven't worked since for the past 2.5 years since I quit my job. And, I sold my house and have been sort of living off of that. And so it's now 2.5 years and I haven't had any income coming in. And as I'm seeing my account dip lower and lower, I'm like, oh God, I like n need to do something. And so when I left my job in Western medicine, I was like, so very adamant I will never again work in Western medicine. And I didn't really want to work as a clinician either. And so even like the functional and regenerative medicine worlds weren't very appealing to me. But as you know, State Shift has been sort of like slow to launch, my totally on me and my own blocks. But I've like started to reconsider going back into like a functional or regenerative medicine role. And so last fall there was a PA role that popped up. I went and interviewed, and it was very much all focused on peptides and hormones, and it just felt like a washed version of Western medicine, and it just didn't feel right for me. So let that one go. Um, Other little roles and opportunities came up, and nothing really felt right. And then as I've just like started to be really stressed about this situation, a regenerative medicine role popped up on Indeed. It sounded really great. Um, it was part-time, super flexible. It paid really well, and it was right here in Boulder. And so I applied, um, and got a response, which was awesome. But after talking with the nurse practitioner, who's the clinic manager, I just got a really strong gut feeling that it wasn't aligned. And that is also the universe speaking to you. So your intuition is a portal to your higher self and the universe. This sounds super woo-woo, but hang with me. Your intuition comes in through clairvoyance, which is like seeing in your mind's eye, clairaudience, which is like a voice in your head, clairsentience, which is just like the gut feeling, and claircognizance, which is just a gut knowing. Wait a second. Clairsentience, which is like feeling, and cognizance, which is just like a general knowing. Um, a knowing that like just comes in like like you know something is true, but you don't like have a logical reason to know it. You just know it. So anyways, I um after having this phone call with this nurse, I was just like, I knew it and I felt it, that it wasn't going to be aligned. Just from what she had said about, how they run their practice. And so I honestly didn't think I was going to hear back from her. But the next day I got an email inviting me to shadow, at the clinic and meet the physician and, go from there. Um, and even though everything in me said this wasn't aligned, um, I I accepted the opportunity. And the days leading up to it, I got so annoyed with myself because I was like, I know this isn't going to be the right fit. Like I just know it. That's that clear cognizance. I just like knew it wasn't the right fit. But everything, my ego and the parts of me that were like freaking out about my money situation and like trying to make things work accepted. And so yeah, that was what was leading up to, my shadowing day. And on the morning of, as I was driving to, all of a sudden I was like, oh shoot, there's going to be things about this day that are going to be about this job opportunity that are going to be appealing and are going to like make me want to continue into the interview process. And it's going to be really confusing because like my gut and my heart are telling me that this isn't the right fit, but my ego is going to come up with like little things of why I should try and make this work, and like settle for less. And so before I went in, I asked the universe, I was like, please give me an unmistakable sign, that this is whether this is a good fit for me or not, and whether it is aligned for my highest path. And then I just sent that out into the universe, and sort of let it go and forgot about it and walked into the clinic and went about the day. And I was right. There were things about that role that would have been amazing. Like the clinic was absolutely beautiful. It had exposed brick walls, gorgeous wood floors, just like a really beautiful setting. It's like a high-end concierge functional regenerative medicine practice. The physician and the staff were so kind and nice and welcoming. Um, it's Yeah, and honestly, that was like about it of why it was so attractive. Well, and the pay was really great. The fact that it was part-time and like I could have picked the days and the hours that I wanted to work. That was all super appealing as well. Um, and then when I shadowed, and sat in with the physician and the patients that he was seeing, it's none of it aligned with how I view, medicine should be practiced. Essentially the physician, all of these patients had labs drawn, 90 different biomarkers, and the physician would just go down each of those numbers and be like, oh, this number's low, you need this medication for it, or you need this supplement for it. Up, your vitamin D is low, we got to supplement you with vitamin D. Your testosterone is low, you need, TRT, and because testosterone therapy can make you lose your hair, here's a medication that you can take for hair loss. And it was just like so horrifying, honestly, and eye-opening. I was like, it gave me so much compassion for patients because I understand how confusing and how much noise there is out there in the health and wellness space. And like people are waking up to the fact that Western medicine is so freaking broken and is honestly doing more harm than it is good. But unfortunately, patients are turning to functional and regenerative medicine practices, and they aren't any better. Honestly, they're like I said, a greenwashed version of Western medicine. Instead of pharmaceuticals, they are being sold very expensive lab biomarker tests and supplement protocols, that are only putting band-aids on their symptoms. and they're managing their symptoms, but they aren't getting at the true root cause. Even though functional and regenerative medicine is, very much says they're about root cause healing. It really isn't. It's just instead of pharmaceuticals, they're using supplements. But what was really eye-opening in this practice was that like they actually used a ton of pharmaceuticals as well. And there was no like they didn't ask about stress levels. They didn't ask about sleep. They didn't ask about water intake. They didn't ask about sunlight. They didn't ask about tech and EMF exposure. Um, and you guys, if your healthcare provider is not asking you about those things, they are doing you a huge disservice because you can solve so many issues with lifestyle. And you can also, like, you aren't solving or curing anything by taking a pill or a supplement. Um, yeah, I'm just gonna say it. So, anyways, that like I got off on a tangent and total soapbox there, but yeah, I left that day being like, yeah, that's not the right fit for me. So I knew it in my heart and my gut. I knew it before I went in and I knew it leaving. But as I was walking to my car, there was the parking ticket sitting on my windshield. And I just started laughing. And honestly, I was like, thank you, universe. I asked for an unmistakable sign and you delivered. So I'm not even mad about paying what is it, like $30. It was just like validation and confirmation that it's not the right fit. And even though it's like I still don't have a job, I just still don't have income coming in, I know that like I know I feel very like good about declining this role. It's like not in alignment with my values. It would go against my integrity to practice medicine in that way. And yeah, it just feels so good. I've never honestly declined a job before. It's just always been like hoping and praying that I got the job. So this actually feels really good, even though I'm just like, okay, I still don't know what I'm gonna do next, but I just like gotta keep following the breadcrumbs. So anyways, yeah, that was my most recent story on signs from the universe. And it's just so cool. So signs can come in through your intuition, but they also can come in through like um they can come in through billboards, through like passages in a book, through song lyrics. Another thing, like last year, last spring, my ex-boyfriend moved in literally like half a block down the street from me. And it was so awesome. Like that same week, that he moved down the block for me, the song called Run Like Hell by Linkin Grounds came on my radar. I'd never heard of it before, never heard of the song, but all of a sudden it like came on my radar on my Spotify, and it's an awesome song if you haven't heard of it. But I was just like, thank you, universe. Like um there were so many things that came up with him moving down the road, and it was just like the message I needed to hear. Run like hell. Um, as if it wasn't already clear. But yeah, it was an unmistakable sign. So anyways, this whole like episode is just like start opening up to the signs that the universe gives you. It could be like you'll hear about angel numbers like 777 or 111 or 444. You might see it on a license plate, or you might see it on the clock or wherever. Um, Repetitive numbers, those can be confirmations from the universe. It might be a feather or a butterfly or a bird that comes on your path. There are all different ways that the universe communicates with you. And if you just start paying attention, if you just start like really being present in the present moment, and just like start opening up your awareness to the potential of these breadcrumbs and signs, it's really freaking cool. And it can be so helpful when you're like trying to make a decision or figure out what the next step is for you. So, Anyways, that is a fun little story. I'm gonna go ahead and pay my parking ticket happily and gratefully. And we'll see what the universe brings me next. All right, thanks, guys. And we'll see you next time.